Now, an absolute value can be defined as the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. Since x and negative x are the same distance from 0 on the number line, their absolute values are the same. In other words, if I look at the distance between x and negative x on this number line, they take up the same amount of distance. The distance on the right is equal to the distance on the left. So the absolute values of x and negative x, the absolute value of x and negative x are equal. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, when we have an absolute value equation, what we've got, like for instance, the absolute value of x minus 3 equals 4. What we're really saying is the distance between x and 3 is 4. So the distance between x and 3 is 4. Okay, so that's nice, but what does that mean for us? If I had 3 on the number line, I could move 4 spaces forward or 4 spaces backwards, and both of those distances would be equal. So I could have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or I could have 3 minus 4 is 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1. And both of those numbers are a distance of 4 from 3. Now, what that means is that x minus 3 equals negative 4, and x minus 3 equals positive 4. So when we're working on an absolute value equation, we have to keep that in mind. We can add 3 to both sides here, and we get x equals negative 1. We can add 3 to both sides here, and get x equals 7. And since both of these distances are equal, both of these numbers are solutions. So when we're solving an absolute value equation, we end up having to solve more than one equation. For instance, if I had the absolute value equation, the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 7, I can't just solve x minus 5 equals 7. It would be nice, but that's not the only equation I have to solve. I also have to solve x minus 5 equals negative 7. So I have to take what's on the right side of the equation and change the sign. Now when I solve these equations, we've done this before. Add 5 to both sides. We get x equals 7 plus 5 is 12. So one of my solutions is 12. On the other side, add 5 to both sides, and get x equals negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. That is my other solution. Both of these numbers are solutions, because if x is 12, it still creates a true equation. If x is negative 2, again, it's still a true equation. Alright, so let's look at something slightly more complicated. I have the absolute value of 5x minus 10 equals 45. Well, again, I'm solving two separate equations. I have to solve the equation 5x minus 10 equals positive 45, and I have to solve 5x minus 10 equals negative 45. Solving the first equation, I start by adding 10. Since this is a two-step equation, I will always add or subtract first, and I get 5x equals 55. After that, since I'm multiplying x by 5, I divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 11. That's one of my answers. I still need the other answer, So on the other side, I have 5x plus 10, same steps, right? I'm going to add 10. I end up with 5x equals negative 35 in this case, because negative 45 plus 10 is negative 35. And just like before, I divide by 5, and I get x equals negative 7. Both of these are solutions to this equation. Notice that the steps that I used to solve these equations were the same. That may not always be the case, but most of the time it will be. You can use the same steps to solve the equations.